Hey everyone, this is probably not a very exciting video. It's not really a tutorial, more like ideas. I was watching Debbie Ham, Three Hens and a Chick the other day, and she has a whole bunch of, or had, she sold them, bunch of just pieces of lace. And she's like, what do I do with that? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a lace sample card. So that's what I did. And I just took some numbers that I had printed off on tea-dyed paper and just put them next to it. I don't know. It's a nice writing spot. What it is a tea-dyed index card that only one side got really good and tea-dyed. So, I grunged up the back of it a little bit, but still makes a really nice writing spot. So it's just fun ideas of what to do with those little bitty pieces that you have left. I thought that was fun. Super easy. Grunged around the edge a little bit. Here is another part of a playing card, or not a playing card, an index card. And she had some just part of a doily piece. So I just opened it up. I don't know if you're familiar with crochet, but these are called pineapples. And if you pull them, they kind of spread out and look really pretty. So I put some book page on there thinking that would be kind of like a information card. I don't think it really ended up looking like one, but that was my thoughts, is that the book page would kind of act like it was talking about this piece. I don't know. Anyway, kind of like a sampler card. I did the same thing on this one. I put different pieces of the book page, little bit of, that's that backing cloth, and I put some vintage sepia ink on it, and then just little pieces of lace that she had. This was some I had that I had put rust and coffee on, and so I just put that there, and put that there, and then I just stamped the little figure 1, 2, and 3, and then a number. And at the top, I just put, again, this was a piece of fabric. It looked like this. It was just a long piece in her bag. And I just kind of grunched it up, put a little rusty bulb pin in it with a button. And I know these don't make sense because, sample cards don't really look like this, but I think they're fun. I think they turned out really, really neat looking. And this is a playing card. I got this one from Pearl Spines, and I don't know, it looks like an old one. Knowing her, it probably is like a vintage playing card. So I just put a piece of, I had rust dyed and coffee dyed some fabrics. So I just took a piece of it and glued over that bottom number, and then inked around it, put a piece of tea-dyed paper on the back to make a neat writing spot, and then put a rusty staple on the topper. Just kind of like a little, I don't know, little writing spot. But I thought it was neat, like maybe by covering up this number, it looked like, that was maybe number 15 of the sample. I don't know what I was going for. I just thought they turned out neat. So I thought I would show them to you as a neat something that we could do. All of these things are pretty much scrap from the material, the laces. The index cards were, this one was tore, but I just accentuated that tear with some distress ink and, made it look like some kind of an old card. But again, it serves a purpose. It has good writing spot. All of them do on the back. So, that's really it. That's my idea. I'm sure it's been done many, many times, but I think sometimes myself, I forget, hey, what do we do with these little pieces? So I'm just going to make another one of these little cards. I also find I didn't have to do it so much on this one because I really think they're not as slick as a new playing card. I really think these must be older. So I'm just going to, play around here a little bit and maybe make another one of the lace cards, and maybe you'll get some ideas of something fun that you can do with your scraps. But I thought this was a really neat way to use, and I didn't, when I glued this down, my fabric, I didn't glue it all the way down. I wanted the edges, you know, like it had been through years of sampling, and so the edges were kind of coming up. That's kind of how I left it. I didn't want it to be totally flat. And I think that on that first one, I got it glued down a little bit much, and a little bit too much, and then I just pulled the edges back up where it would look a little bit, you know, rugged or worn, if you will, something like that. And then I just inked around it with the vintage sepia. And I also took some of the ground espresso, and I think it was, is it Crafting with Tony or Crafty Tony? And she did this. She used two different colors to kind of give it, you know, the edge where it was really. And then she also made some creases in hers, and I don't remember. I'll try to remember to link the video where I saw it, but to be honest, I don't remember where I saw it. I've watched a lot of her videos, and she does a lot of, you know, grungy, but I like that. I like putting that little crease in there. I think that looks cool. So I'm going to just do that, and then I'm going to back it with some tea-dyed paper. Or actually, what I used on the back of it was one of the index cards. And then I took the other half of it and made a sample card, the smaller one like this. So I think I'll do the same thing. I think I'll just get another index card. This one's got some grungy on it. That, ooh, look at that. Isn't that neat? Yeah, let's use this one. Okay, so I'm going to glue this card down onto here on this side, and then this side will be our sample card. You could do buttons. Have lots of buttons too. That would be fun. I think, you know, you could do wallpaper if you had little pieces of wallpaper left over. The Italian paper, you know, I'm kind of on that. We just had a big sale, and lots of you got that paper, and that would be something. You know, you got the little offcuts and whatever. Just make it out of, make a little sample card with it. I think that'd be fun. So I'm going to just glue this. I wish I had done it this way. There we go. And then I turned it back over and burnished it so that I didn't tear up my fabric or, you know, pull it up. I can't find my burnishing tool. I know that's hard to believe, but it's on this messy desk somewhere, I'm sure. My bone folder. So just real quick like this, we're going to make two neat little writing spots. And I didn't sew around this because I used the Fabri-Tac. I didn't think I needed to sew around it. That would look neat too. So then what I did was I just, on these edges, and I got lazy and I used my corner rounder. Well, got something all over my corner rounder, don't I? Just like that. Doesn't that look neat? That easy. We have a really neat writing spot. Plus, the fold that I made in it, it's not weak now because I've glued it to paper. And doesn't that look neat? I love tea-dyed paper. Any kind. This is an index card, like I said, but I love just messing with all the papers to tea dye. And I think I'm going to put a number on the back here. As I was saying about Tony, I will link her channel. I'm sure most of you are very familiar with her. If you like grungy, she does a lot of really cool grungy things. And I will link her channel below. Not a particular video, as I said, because I watched so many of them. I really don't know where I saw it. And I'm sure she's done it probably on more than one thing. So that's my number. And just for fun, I'm going to stamp a number on the back here. I think that adds a little something. I don't think I'm going to add a topper to this one. I think I'm just going to let it be like that. Now for this piece, I'm going to go ahead and round my corners. This is the other end of it. And you know, the bottom that I cut off, I'll show it to you in just a second. This piece, that's a neat piece that we can just keep to stamp a number on or anything like that. You could even put a little phrase on it, and it has some really neat tea dyeing, so I'll for sure keep that. You had to know I wasn't going to throw it away, right? But that went without saying. I'm going to eat this up, and I'll show you another thing I did. This is not, I'm sure people do it all the time, but it hadn't occurred to me yet. Kind of like in the dragging that into it. It just seems like rather than just going around the edge, just makes it look a little older. Like that. Maybe on the back too. If you have one of those brushes, that works pretty good. I'm going to fold this because it seems to have a line right there, so that'll just make it look even better. But one thing I did on the white one that didn't have much color on the back, see all these flecks? I always stand my little inker right on the top here, and of course it never dries because that's not stays on, and this is plastic, so I just daubed it off onto my paper, and it gave it a really neat aged look. I like that too. So we don't waste any of our ink. How about that? I'm sure you probably have already done that. But on the VersaFines, there's not paper on the top, so it doesn't ever dry. My VersaFine, anyway. I don't know. I know the Ranger Archival, do they have paper on the top? I think they do. Anyway, that's just an idea of what you could do if you have extra ink on the top of yours. Isn't that neat? That had a stencil laying on it that kind of looked like a fan, or, you know, like palm leaves, something like that. So I'm digging into this bag again. Never know what you'll find in Debbie Ham's bags, that's for sure. She has it all. That's a pretty one. Maybe we'll do a little piece of that. I have some little pieces that maybe I can put on there. Something like that. And I know that this is not probably really what a sample card looks like, but I still think it's neat. So let's do something like that. And also, I was going to tell you, like on this one, if you put this in a journal that you were selling, I didn't tack this down completely. I just lightly did it at the top and the two bottom pieces. Same on these. I didn't tack it really well, so that if whoever gets it doesn't want to keep it on there, they could take it off and use it throughout the journal. I think that's a neat idea too. So let's just do the same on this. We won't tack it a lot, just a little bit. I say tack it, I mean glue. But you know, you could do that too. You could just stitch it on there, like lightly stitch it on there. That would be cool. I'll move that more in the center like that. Seeing which side is the right side. They both look good, so I don't guess it matters on this one. I only put 3 little dots because, like I said, I wanted it to be where if I put this in a journal, someone decides they want to use it somewhere else, it's easily taken off. That way, they don't have to worry about tearing off a big glob of the paper with it. All right. Now I think I'm going to go back and get that figure 1, 2, 3 stamp. I think that'll look good. I'm sure putting a lot of faith in the fact that I'll find that stamp again, ain't I? Like, have you seen your craft room? Ooh, there's my Cassacks vintage stamp. That's going to have to go on there. I did find it. Look at there. I did stamp that vintage on one of these. Oh, here it is. But I didn't have very much ink on there, so you may not be able to see it very good, but it's right there. So I think I'm going to just put it over here this time in the corner. She was so... oh, and I did it upside down. Would you believe that? Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, shoot. Okay. I have an idea. It's a dumb one, but it might work. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. How, really? I did it the other way, but it doesn't look right now. Oh, I'm so upset. Okay. I have an idea. Oh, it worked. Oh, yay. Okay. So I took my little sanding block and just sanded the top vintage off so you can still see the bottom one. And then I'll just ink back over that. Oh, yay. Okay. Woohoo, it worked. Okay, that's exciting for me. I was so sad because I thought, really, did you just do that? Okay, now I'm going to do my number 1. And my number 2. That don't sound right, does it? I'm going to put my little piece of paper here so only the 2 will get stamped. That worked. Now we'll do the number 3. Where do I want to put that? Put it right over here. Okay. Can you see where I put the figure 1, 2, and 3? I like that. I was so excited about using that vintage, and I did it upside down. I'm just so tickled that that worked. Okay, so let's put something at the top. Let's do a tag topper on this one. And of course, look, I did the whole thing upside down. This is upside down too. But that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. It's fine. Well, let's see. What do I want to put on the top? Do I want to put this again, or do I want to use a piece of this? This is kind of neat. This was in that bag. Isn't that fun? That's a neat piece of... I'm going to use this. I like how it looks. Very pretty. You never know what you're going to get in a Deb Ham scrap bag. You get the coolest things, and that's fun just to play. I'm going to cut that bottom where it'll be kind of rugged too. I like the fringe. I like when the fibers kind of fringe out. All right. Now I'm going to put that right on the top like that. But I think I want to put a little bit of ink on it, of course. Very pretty. I wonder where she gets all these different things. And I will link Deb's channel below. And pearls. I've just kind of been... I think I'm just going to kind of leave them on there because they don't... Deb is, I think, done kind of with her desatch, but she still sells, and there are other people that sell. Nikia, she sells a lot of really cool things too. She goes to a lot of estate sales, and I mean, you just never know what she's going to have. Not ever. All right, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do like I did on this one and just sew the topper on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so because I've cut that funny, the side of this is just loose, but I like it. It just, to me, looks even grungier, and I'm going to leave it. Of course, you could always cut it off. But isn't that neat? I mean, isn't that it? And they're so, I mean, they're useful. They're all writing spots. They all have little bits and pieces that you can take off and put somewhere else in your journal, whether it be laces or fabrics. You could use that for a topper or a side tab. Not a topper, but a tab, I guess. Anyway, that was my idea of what to do with some scraps this time. I hope you guys liked this. It inspired you, made you think of ways that you can use your scraps as well. I'm not quite back to doing a video every day yet, but we're getting there. So I'm hoping for, 2 or 3 times a week. I love visiting with you guys. And Kath, I'm sorry. The first debut, I've done the vintage stamp and I did it upside down. But that's okay. We got it fixed. Thank you for watching. I hope that you will try some of these. And I will see you next time. Bye.